Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kallas Remarks with your host, Joe Staszak, my man right there, the star of the show, Steve Kallas. How you doing, bro?
All good, Joe. Great to be with you as always.
You too. Well, baseball's in full swing after, 2 weeks, and the Dodgers look like they're about to go 162 and 0. Meanwhile, the Braves haven't punched the win column yet, 0 and 7, and the Yankees look like the 27 Yankees with all the home runs they're hitting. What do you think so far? And Phillies, don't count them out until the postseason, but they're 5 and 1. So interesting
Well,
start.
I'm glad at least not that this is, you're looking to beat the Dodgers, and I don't see anybody who can beat the Dodgers. It's the old if they stay healthy, I think they're going to dominate. And that was before the season started. So they're 8-0 to see how bad it's going for the Braves. They were beating the Dodgers 5-0 on Wednesday. And Otani bobblehead night, as you know, in the bottom of the ninth, hit a walk-off home run to win the game. And it's just everything's going bad for the Braves. Everything's going good for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts, who missed the first couple of games, he was sick, hit a three-run homer to win a game when they came back to the U.S. from Tokyo. And I'm sorry, to me, they're the new Yankees because they go out and buy whoever they want. Somehow they can get the Japanese guys to take 2 million a year, 3 million a year, and
Yeah.
700 million defer or whatever it is.
I mean, they spent a billion dollars 2 off seasons ago on like two guys. I mean, what? But it doesn't show up in the books like right now.
Right, exactly. It's a way to avoid the tax. It's a way
Right.
to avoid the tax. And I don't know why everybody isn't doing it. Anybody who has money to spend, I don't know why they're not. Whatever they're doing, I think Otani literally makes like 2 or 3 million a year, and
Well,
everything
because
else
you're
is
still
deferred.
paying the money. Maybe they just don't. I mean, they're just dumping cash, and they are the Yankees of this decade at least they're starting to look like it. How would they won two titles, right? They won the COVID year, or did they not win the COVID year? I thought they won one.
No, this is their second, I think, in like five or
Yeah,
six,
that's what I thought.
5 years,
Okay.
I want to say.
Look, you got Magic out there dumping money. He owns the Commanders too. Like they're just pumping money. Uh,
Uh, key
they
to
did.
life and key to life in sports, as you know. And the other team I'll just mention for now, well, the Padres are 7-0, and the Yankees, these torpedo bats where they put extra weight in the middle of the bat. If you even played Little League baseball, if you get it off the barrel, it's going. If you get it off the middle, it's not. But somehow they can distribute the weight. And look, everybody complained to Manfred. He says totally legal with the Yankees. And in Aaron Judge's defense, he hasn't used it yet, and he's already got five
Yeah,
homers
I mean, does he need it,
in
right?
six games. So it'll be scary if he switches. But Chisholm, look, Chisholm's a good player. He's using that bat, and a lot of the Yankees are using that bat. They got 22 home runs in the first six games of a season. That's the all-time record in Major League Baseball. And the Dodgers were the old record holders. They did 17 in 2019. And so to beat a team by five home runs that has the all-time record is just, it's another stratosphere. I mean, I was predicting,
Almost
I don't
four
know if
home
it's
runs a
happened.
game. That's insane.
That's insane. But as you know, on opening day, and I hope we talked about it, on opening day, they went back to back to back. First three pitches, three home runs with Judge getting the third. I think it was who was leading off? Oh, Wells. Wells, the catcher, was leading off like the first catcher. I mean, they had some crazy records. And Goldschmidt, I think, was batting second and hit a home run, and then Judge hit a home run. Uh, but Judge doesn't need those bats. But if he's allowed to use them and wants to try, when he hits it off the middle of the barrel, it'll go.
It's gone.
But I'll be shocked if there's not like three-quarters of the league using them in a few weeks if they're
The Phillies
legal.
use them. The Phillies already use them.
Right. So you have to, well, again, obviously it's like bat on steroids
Right. If you can,
in the middle of the bat. So the Yankees, I mean, they're 4-2. The Diamondbacks almost swept them, but the Yankees came back to win yesterday. And the only other thing I saw, at least in the NL East, is the Red Sox and the Orioles are both 3-4. And I think they're contenders with the Yankees, although they haven't started well because the Yankees don't have Cole. And Max Fried, he didn't get smacked around his first start, but he gave up 6 runs, only two earned. When the Yankees won 20-9, when they hit all those home runs, they made 5 errors. That's a problem.
that is a little bit of a problem.
But to me, the Dodgers are head and shoulders they were before the season. They are now. I don't know how they do it with the money, but you got a guy like Freddie Freeman you don't even talk about. The guy's
Don't
like
even talk about Freddie Freeman.
so he also missed the first two games, and of course they went to Tokyo and won both games anyway. But the Dodgers are head and shoulders. I couldn't even tell you right now who I'd pick for second. If Cole was pitching, maybe the Yankees. But I love Aaron Judge, but he's first World Series last year, and he's like, yeah, we just got to get back there and redeem ourselves. And I'm sorry, even with Cole, to me, and I'm a Yankee guy. Even with Cole, to me, if they had to play the Dodgers in the World Series this year, I give them as little chance as they had last year.
I mean, the Mets owned the Phillies. Phillies could do nothing right, and the Dodgers just
Oh, you
toyed with them. They like 8, 10 runs a game. It
I
wasn't
think
even
I think Soto's off to a slow start for the Mets, right? I think
shocking.
he had a hit opening day. The first hit was a single, and he had
Right.
two. And then he got up in the bottom of the ninth, no, in the top of the ninth with I think the leading runs on, or he was the leading run. And Hader made him look terrible. And I'll say it again, he's an excellent hitter, a great hitter, but he doesn't have Aaron Judge batting behind him. He's got Pete Alonso who's good, but he's not Aaron Judge batting behind him.
No.
And he doesn't have the short right field porch. And guess what? Those are two big, big, big factors. Don't forget, Babe Ruth 100 years ago had Lou Gehrig batting behind him.
Yeah,
And he had the
that
short
helps.
porch in right field starting in 1923, the house that Ruth built. And before that, he played in the Polo Grounds, Ruth, and hit 54 and 59 home runs. I mean, it's very important to me who bats behind you
Well,
if you're
sure.
looking to be a superstar or a record holder, an
Yeah.
all-time great.
You're going to see better pitches.
You know the story with Roger Maris. Roger Maris batted third. Mickey Mantle batted fourth. Roger Maris hit 61 homers. And the question people who know always ask is, so how many times did Roger Maris get walked intentionally because Mickey Mantle was behind him? The answer is zero.
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 Of
It's one of the
course.
great stats of all time.
Love
So
it.
I think the Dodgers are off to the races. Look, the Padres are 7-0. Could they beat the Dodgers? I don't think anybody can beat the Dodgers unless they have injuries, which we won't know, till the end of the year.
Stuff happens.
Yankees already have their horrific injury. Cole's out for the year.
It happens. I mean, I'm wondering why the Braves have just gotten off to such a horrific start. 2 years ago, they were setting records left and right with their offense. But yeah, it's early, so it's baseball, long season. You're going to see some ebbs and flows. Let's talk a little hockey. We're moving hockey right up the chart to number two right now. Ovie, 3 goals away from breaking the record, and he's still projected to do it on April 13th. Excuse me. To me, that's actually disrespectful.
Too late.
Ovie, that's a hat trick for Ovie. I mean, come on. I know he's not as prolific, but that's a hat trick.
Well, he's got 39 goals with a broken leg this year. I mean,
That's
that's
unbelievable.
incredible. And he scored a goal against Carolina, even though they lost. In fact, he scored the only goal they lost.
Yeah.
Carolina is pretty good. They lost 5-1, but that was almost the quintessential. It was at the top of the circle,
Yeah.
but his classic one is kind of midway the circle.
He can still
But
fire it. He can still
I
fire it.
I don't think anybody's had a better shot to score a goal. I wish somebody would do it, someone like Elias Sports Bureau or something. Maybe they could look at every goal he scored. But I'm going to guess he has maybe half of those goals from that spot, 400 goals or something. It's the greatest shot in hockey history to me. And I wouldn't even know who was second. You had guys. I remember when I was a very little kid seeing Bobby Hull at Madison Square Garden, and I saw him maybe 3 times in a season on a face-off on a power play. They just got it back to Bobby Hull, and he just took a slap shot when they had bananas. At the
Yeah,
very
yeah.
beginning of curve sticks, they didn't have that. You could curve it as much as
Serve it
you,
as much as you
and it
want.
got so crazy that now they have what they have today. But I saw him 3 times take a slap shot and the goalie didn't move. I mean, it was just like unbelievable. And you could see it at the balcony at the Garden. It was always where we sat. You could see it, and it was just like you couldn't see it. You saw the net go off in the back when he hit it. But that doesn't compare to what Ovi did. Although Hull's one of the greatest goal scorers ever, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'll never forget when the curved sticks came out. He and Makita, you know the story. He and Stan Makita, who was my hero when I was a kid. He was a center. The Rangers were horrific, but they actually made themselves curved sticks by putting their sticks under the hotel room door and bending them.
And bending them,
Right.
really.
And you could see in the balcony how thick they were. It looked like a banana. But then eventually they changed that. I think it was in effect though for a few years till, it used to dip and thing. The goalies got all scared and
They use
stuff.
a blowtorch now down at
Is that right?
when I worked Prism. Yeah, they were always using the blowtorch. So I get the idea to do it at home with my stick. I burned it. Just wasted a $50 stick. Totally burned. I put it on the stove. I didn't have a blowtorch. So yeah, that didn't work out. But anyway, yeah, they use a blowtorch. They're very skilled at it, just a little light, and then they start bending it. When I think of that, I think of Marty McSorley, costing the Kings maybe a Stanley Cup against the Canadians back in
Oh
'92.
yeah.
But yeah,
Wow, that's a
that was
good memory.
that was a great call by the coach to call it out at that point. They were down 1 game to nothing. They were about to go down 2 games to nothing, and they won in overtime. But anyway, a long time ago. But
Yep.
I wove Gretzky in there somehow. So yeah, a hat trick away. Listen, I don't I love Ovie. It's not like I don't like the guy, but he's about to break that record. I'd like to see him get 900 now. He's not getting 1,000. Let's not get crazy, but
I don't know. We'll see if he's
if
going to score 40, 45 goals
he
this year.
keep, he's LeBron on ice. The guy just he doesn't, and he gets hurt. He
And
breaks his
all due
leg
respect
and
to
comes back in a
LeBron,
month. What's that?
everything you say about LeBron is true, but it's got to be much tougher in hockey because it's a brutal
Oh
sport.
my God, it's brutal. And he plays. He doesn't like tiptoe around. He can't be
Exactly.
a finesse guy, but he'll mix it up. He's like a 5 tool guy. He'll fight. He'll bang you up in the boards, and he doesn't.
That's right.
He throws his body around. He's built to last. So good stuff there.
Yep.
We'll keep an eye on Ovie and Gretzky. That record of 894 goals about to be snapped. Let's talk a little hoop. Gold State again. I think they became a team again, or at least a contender when Jimmy Butler went there and beat the Lakers last night. Now they're in fourth place. I heard somebody on something yesterday. I think the Lakers are going to win the title, and I don't know. Yeah, they have Luka and LeBron, and Luka still doesn't play any defense. I don't know how that's going to change when he gets to the postseason. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers are a better team with Anthony Davis in Dallas and Luka there. He's just big time scorer. Don't know about him being out of shape and whatnot. He doesn't look like he's in great shape, but he can still score. We'll see. I don't know. Oklahoma City's pretty good. They're pretty good this year.
Absolutely. They're running away 64 and 12. But
That's pretty good.
Curry and Butler, when they played together, because Curry has had a couple minor injuries since
Yeah, he had the hip.
they're 19 and
No,
2 when they both play.
I know.
It's the old you don't want to play them.
No, no, you definitely don't want to play
I don't
them.
think you want to play the Lakers either, but
You
I
don't want
think
to play Steph.
Curry
He
is,
gets hot.
Draymond Green's still there. They got three of the four guys.
Yeah, they did. They've kept that core together pretty well.
Yeah. And they got this guy Podzemski who's really, really good. He had 28 last night. Brandon Potemski and Curry had 37.
37.
LeBron had 33 and 9 assists. Reeves is a star. Reeves is a star nobody knows about. Even LeBron says that. He had 31, but the Warriors put him away at the end to win by 7. But I do want to talk briefly about OKC, and I want to say congratulations, Joe, to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, he had 33. They're 64 and 12. He had 33, 6 rebounds, 3 steals the other night against the Pistons, who are good, but they didn't have Cade Cunningham, who's their man. Pistons are 42 and 34. So they're pretty good. But congratulations to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There's another NBA record I've never heard of. I don't know if you have, but there's another NBA record.
Oscar Robertson. No?
Congratulations to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He has just tied Michael Jordan for third place all time in this stat. Consecutive games in one season, in the same season, consecutive games of 20 or more points. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has now done it this year 69 times in a row.
Oh,
He tied Michael Jordan. Pretty good, right? 69 times in a row. He tied them for third. There are only two guys ahead of those two guys. And one guy did it twice, 80 games in a row, and another guy did it once, 76 games in a row, again in the same season. Who could those two guys be, Joe?
Oh, I said Oscar. My second guess would be Wilt Chamberlain.
Will did 80 in a row two different times.
Unbelievable.
What, an 82 game season?
That's unbelievable.
Which means he either
What
got hurt.
happened the other two games? I mean, what was he doing?
Well, the greatest stat with Wilt, as you know, is he averaged 1 year over 48 minutes a game because he played every game and they had like five overtimes. So
Overtime game.
technically he was over 48 minutes.
Never took him out.
That's another scary one. But I just think it's so funny. I'll say it forever. Whatever records. Now they kind of stop. They go 50 years ago or since the merger with the ABA. But whenever they go back to the 60s, forget about it. It's all Wilt and Oscar.
You imagine being an opposing coach back in those days and like playing the Sixers or the Warriors or wherever, and just like, okay,
Or both.
who's got Wilt? You know, like who's got Wilt tonight? Like,
Well, I will say this, and we talked about it. There's I think it's a five-part series on the Celtics, the history of the Celtics. It's really incredible. I don't know if it's on HBO, but it's on one of those stations. And I watched the first one, and I'm going to save it to show it to my son Johnny because it really gives you a feel with lots of film, lots of video of what they were like, how they were like. You know, at the beginning, Russell was upset because they said Kuzi's the greatest player ever. Kuzi's the greatest player ever. And it was probably maybe a black-white thing. I don't know. But, then when Kuzi retired, I think they won the next five in a row or something like that. And there was some, Boston, it was tough for black players in Boston then. I don't know if it now, we've heard things over the years, but um, Wilt's obviously the most dominant player ever. I've said Oscar more of a pound for pound thing because he averaged a triple double if you total up his first 5 years in the league. And he was lost in Cincinnati for a long time.
was
But if you get a chance to watch the Celtics thing, I found the first two episodes actually, because I think it goes all the way to Russell retiring in '69 with that Don Nelson shot.
yeah, the one that bopped up and then dropped.
Yeah. And I forget who it was on the Lakers, but he stole it to smack it away and he smacked it right to Don Nelson who just caught it. They interviewed Don Nelson. He goes, greatest shot I ever made. I had no idea what I was doing. I just got it and shot it. But if you want to see a little NBA history, watch that. I mean, I'm not a Celtics guy, obviously, but it was fascinating. And I want Johnny to see like a lot of video from those years just to see how good these guys were.
Yeah.
And there was that game seven, I think, in 1962 when Bill Russell had 30 points and 40 rebounds. Much as I love Frazier in the Willis Reed game, 30 points and 40 rebounds in a game seven, that's got to be the greatest game seven in NBA history.
Ridiculous. Absolutely. Not even close. Good stuff, bro. Let's finish up with a little NFL owners meetings this past week. So apparently you can change the rules in mid-meeting and then decide to table a vote because the tush push. Uh, I'm sorry, what? So now the Packers, since no one likes to target a specific team, they're going to say, well, let's just get rid of the rule, go back to 2005. So then it's not really about the Eagles. It's just about what? The injuries? Oh, wait, there's no injuries. There's no injury.
No, it's about the Eagles. They're the
You
best.
think? You
They're the
think?
best. And I thought when Kelsey retired, obviously, but I think their center now is bigger than Kelsey, which is kind of what you need in there. You just need big guys and somebody pushing from
They're so
behind. But
they're big, they're strong, and Jalen's short, small, strong enough, but small enough to get low, and they'll figure it
I,
out another way.
I,
But
I will say this though, but when somebody does get seriously hurt, then they'll end it.
yeah, well, I think it's going to end next month. But yes, well, here's the thing. I don't know if you saw my recent story. I wasn't joking, but the only injuries reported were when the Giants tried it in a game without actually practicing it, and the center got hurt and the other guy got hurt. Other than that, there really hasn't been an injury. And then I hear some stuff come out of the meeting with one of the doctors, like, yeah, well, it's only a matter of time till a serious injury. It's football. Every week there's a
There's a
serious
serious
injury. You know what
injury.
I mean? Like, what are we
No, you're
talking
right.
about?
Yep. And the only other news I saw is Geno Smith signed a 2 year, $75 million contract with the Raiders, 66.5 guaranteed. And obviously, Pete Carroll is now the coach of the Raiders. And I saw somebody on ESPN said, And Tom Brady signed off. He was happy with that. I don't know. I guess they actually do go to Brady because he's a part owner.
He's
But
happy. Really?
I don't
What do
know.
you think he'd say if, like, he had a few beers in him about Geno Smith being the guy? He can come out of the he can come out of the throw his suit off in his phone booth and come out and have a better game than Geno Smith.
I think that's right. Hey, I give Geno Smith credit though. He
Yeah,
and
good
Goff
reclamation
had
project. Yeah,
become Goff has become even better. But look, he was good with the Rams, but they didn't think he could win a Super Bowl, and he's been good.
been really good.
He might win one with the
He
Lions.
might.
He might win one. And the other thing, there's Trey McBride from the Cardinals, who like nobody has followed, but he's a real good player. Again, the Cardinals, they kind of lost in Arizona, and you always think they're going to be good, and they always wind up around
They always
500.
kind of stink.
But Trey McBride is now the highest paid tight end in history, 4 years, 76 million, 43 of it guaranteed.
The
Uh,
money's outrageous.
yeah. And he was second in everything last year. Receptions,
Wait till
touchdowns.
Brock Bowers gets his next contract.
Yeah, but isn't he a rookie? Wasn't he a rookie?
That's what I mean. Wait till he gets his first real contract.
It'll be interesting to see if they take care of him because he's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And then finally, I guess we'll go to the final four. I picked before the tournament. I picked Florida to beat Duke. I'm a little shaky on that, but I won't change now. And I wouldn't pick and never have picked for number one. So I just went with the number twos, who it turned out the number twos were, St. John's got knocked out in the second round. It turned out that the twos weren't that good, and there really weren't some matchups. Again, Florida, we talked about it, I think. Florida could have lost to UConn, and I thought that would be their toughest game. And I think it has been their toughest game, although they really had to come back
I mean, they were
late.
down nine
They
with
made four
with
threes in a row in four possessions, and it was incredible. But it also might have been a little lucky. If they missed one or two of them, they may not win that game.
right.
But they're certainly battle tested. I don't know if they can beat Duke, but I picked Florida over Duke before the tournament, and I'll stick with it because I hate to change horses in mid-stretch, Joe. And that's where we are.
Well done, my friend. So who's winning the whole thing?
I got Florida.
I'm going to go with Auburn. That's just my heart pick. I like
Ooh.
the coach. I really like the coach.
Yeah, do you know that Auburn's, I think they're a 2.5 point underdog to
Yep.
Florida?
Yep. And oh, sorry. And I'd like to see them avenge that Virginia game a few years ago where the guy fouled Kyle Guy with like, and I thought it was a foul, but
All right.
fouled him on a turnaround three up two with like a half a second. Drives
Right.
coaches nuts. But good stuff, my friend. You can catch Steve's stuff on his daily Facebook forum page, Speaking of Sports with Steve Kallas. You can also catch him his videos on westchestercountypost.com on YouTube. This podcast is on YouTube and all the audio outlets, Spotify and Apple, etc. You can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Joe Staszak 975, or heavy on theeagles.com, or on Instagram at Joe Staszak 4799. Good stuff, my friend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Final Four. I do like the national semis. They're almost sometimes better than the national title game, although we've seen some good title games lately. But I do love the national semis because then you have all of the fan bases from all four schools. Remember, when you get to Monday night, and I've been there, was it the timeout game? Two of the schools go
Yeah.
two of the schools go home. And then you're kind of like, well, why is it half empty, the stadium? But I mean, some other, the other teams who are in the final game will come in and buy tickets off them, but it's not quite the same as the semifinals.
Good point.
So
Always a pleasure, Joe.
what's up, bub?
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure with you, my friend. Have a good one, folks. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you next week.